All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we are diving into something really cool, biohacking. You know, it's this whole art and science of basically taking the driver's seat of your own biology so you can feel and perform at your absolute best.
So, let me just ask you something. Do you ever have those days where you feel like you're not firing on all cylinders? You know, you're a little tired, maybe a bit foggy, not quite as sharp as you know you could be? Well, what if I told you there's actually a way to systematically change all that?
And that, my friends, is exactly where biohacking comes in. This term was really put on the map by Dave Asprey. People call him the father of biohacking. And it's really all about making intentional changes, to your lifestyle, your environment, everything, all to boost your health and performance. Think of it like this. You get to be the CEO of, you. Okay, so where in the world do you even start with something like this? Well, the first and most important thing to get your head around is that this isn't just, throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. Nope. Biohacking is a science. And what does every good scientist need? Data. And that brings us right to the core idea here, track and hack. It's pretty simple, really. It just means you measure everything. So before you change anything, you get a baseline. You see where you're starting from. Then, after you make a change, you measure the impact. This whole process has a name. It's called quantification, and believe me, it is the bedrock of doing this whole biohacking thing right. Now, when we talk about data, there are basically two kinds you're going to be looking at. First, there's subjective data. That's just how you feel. Simple as that. Like rating your energy on a scale of 1 to 10 when you wake up. Then you've got objective data, and that's the hard numbers, the stuff you can measure precisely. We're talking heart rate, how long you slept, all that good stuff. So, you might be wondering, how do I even get those hard numbers? Well, that's where all this cool wearable tech comes in. A device like an Oura Ring, for example, is packed with sensors that track all these key things while you go about your day and while you sleep. And the best part is, it takes all that super complex data and boils it down into simple scores for things like your readiness, your sleep, your activity. It's like getting a daily report card on what's really going on inside your body. Okay, so you're tracking your data, you're getting your numbers, now what? What changes can you actually make? Let's get down to business. I'm going to give you 3 super powerful hacks you can literally start playing around with today.
First on the list, and honestly, this might be the most impactful one of all, is mastering your sleep. I mean, think about it. Getting that consistent, high-quality sleep, it's just not optional if you want to be at your best. It's not negotiable.
And here's the thing you got to understand. Quality is so much more important than quantity. It's during that deep sleep that your brain's glymphatic system, which is kind of like your brain's personal cleanup crew, goes to work clearing out all the gunk. But there's a big-time villain that messes this all up, junk light. That's the blue light from our phones, our TVs, our computers. It basically fools your brain into thinking it's still daytime, which shuts down melatonin, that's your sleep hormone, and just totally tanks your sleep quality.
All right, let's move on to hack number 2. Now, this one isn't so much about what you eat, but when you eat. Yep, I'm talking about intermittent fasting.
And wow, the benefits here are they're incredible. Seriously, fasting isn't just some fad for weight loss. It can dial down inflammation, give your immune system a boost, and it can even kickstart a process called autophagy. Think of autophagy as a deep cleaning service for your cells, where your body goes in and gets rid of all the old junky parts. How cool is that? Now, I know what you might be thinking. Skip a meal? Won't I be weak and tired? And that's a totally fair thought, but it's actually a huge misconception. When you do it the right way, fasting can honestly make you feel stronger, sharper, more clear-headed. It helps you break that cycle of always needing to snack. Okay, for our third hack, I want you to do something with me. Just pause for 1 second, right now. Just notice your breath. Are you breathing through your nose, your mouth? Is your chest moving up and down, or is it your belly? Wild, right? Most of us go all day long without ever once thinking about it. And that's why learning to consciously control your breath is such a game changer. It's a foundational tool for any biohacker. Why? Because it's the most direct line you have to influencing your own nervous system. It's the bridge that connects your mind and your body. So what's the right way to breathe? Well, optimal breathing is actually pretty simple. You want to breathe in and out through your nose, low from your belly, nice and slow, and keep it rhythmic. If you just practice this, you can literally start to rewire your body's automatic stress responses. You can learn to bring on a feeling of calm and focus whenever you want. All right, we've talked about tracking, we've talked about sleep, fasting, and even breathing. That's a lot. So the big question now is, How do you actually take all this and put it into practice for yourself? And this, right here, might be the most important takeaway of all. Biohacking is not a one-size-fits-all deal. It's not a rigid set of rules you have to follow. Think of it more like a framework, a toolkit for you to run your own personal experiments. The whole point is to use these ideas to figure out what works for your body and your body alone.
At the end of the day, you are the scientist, and your body, that's your laboratory. The only thing left to figure out is what your first experiment is going to be. What do you want to improve first? Are you going to dive deep into your sleep? Maybe play around with your eating window? Or maybe just start with something simple, like 10 minutes of focused breathing each day? The journey to upgrading your life, it always starts with that first small step, that first experiment. So my question to you is, where will you begin?